now with the new MiFi from Sprint, the mobile hotspot that fits in your pocket. Sprint, the Now Network.
Now with our great American panel. All right, as I look down this list of the president's 10, radicals within his administration, who do you, and I'll ask all of you, who do you think is the worst person he appointed? Who do you think is the most dangerous? Andy?
Well, I certainly think of the list that we've looked at, Jennings is the worst that he's appointed.
Jennings is the school guy.
Right. Yes. Although, Obama's friend in education that we learned about in the campaign go-round is Bill Ayers. So I suppose, next to Bill Ayers, who, by the way, has a very weighty position in the academic world in terms of picking and choosing curricula. Compared to Ayers, I guess maybe Jennings is pretty mainstream, but I find him to be the worst.
This is the guy who's
Holdren forced sterilizations.
That one's really offensive to me. I mean, this is a 1970-ish Malthusian. This is the kind of person who would have been celebrating the one-child policy
like in China.
And here's what's so hypocritical about it. What do we hear from the left all the time about abortion? It's a woman's right to choose. But these policies that he's endorsed are things like forced abortions, forced sterilization.
Wait a
minute, what about the right to choose?
That's a violation of human rights.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, he's in clear violation.
So who do you think is the worst and most dangerous?
Well, I think it's Kevin Jennings. Not only that he's a gay activist, but he was part of the GLSEN. He was the former director for GLSEN. They held a conference in 2000 in which techniques for, I think it was homosexuality, how to perform different techniques were described.
We covered it at the time.
That's insane.
Remember, we used to be, sex education was putting condoms on bananas. Lord knows what they're going to do now with the fisting and
You're
so on.
out of it now.
But, here's one that struck me.
Thanks, Steve.
This is the new
really
education, right?
dialogue
How
here.
about this Mark Lloyd? I don't know much about him, but he's appointed the chief diversity officer of the FCC. What do we need a diversity officer for at FCC?
Don't.
I mean, we're trying to save money. We could save $250,000 by getting rid of these ridiculous
positions. FCC.
We don't even need the whole dimension.
And how much are these people being paid? That's something to really look at. I mean, with our deficit out of control, how much money are we spending on these frivolous job appointments? I mean, this is insane.
I'd say Harold Koh. If you want to look at who's the most dangerous.
Well, this is the guy, just to remind people, this is the issue. He brought up the idea of embracing, law outside the United States.
Exactly
Doesn't that circumvent the Constitution?
Yes, he's the leading transnational progressive in the United States. He's also, again, highly, highly respected in the
Even
academy.
Sharia law.
Yes, which is founded on Muslim, which is the teachings of Allah. It is already being introduced in England and Canada.
Right, but Dean of Yale Law School. And a believer in the doctrine that there isn't anything exceptional about the United States. We're one of 192 countries that ought to be governed by a post-sovereign.
Yeah, but don't forget about Rosa Brooks. I mean, this woman, this is a total blame America firster. I mean, I can't believe she said, thanks to U.S. policies, Al-Qaeda has become the vast global threat to the administration. I mean,
all right, here's the important question, and we don't have time for the most entertaining. All right, it's got to be it's got to be Sunstein giving attorneys to animals. All right, so I think we'll probably all agree. Here's the question: Van Jones is gone. Wright is, at least on the surface, out of the picture. Who knows what contact goes on behind the scenes?
Who's next? Who's next?
Same with Bill Ayers. Should all of these people on this list of 10, the president's 10, be fired?
Sean, the problem is in the Oval Office. It's not the 10. If you got rid of these 10, I'm saying fine, get rid of them. But there'll be another 10. Don't think there won't be another 10. Or that you couldn't have made the show about 20 or 30.
No, we could.
Right.
Sean, they need to be fired. And they need to be fired because they do not represent one other section of the American people. These are only representing the far, far, far left extremists.
But see, this is the point. Elections have consequences, don't they? And we're discovering the consequences of this. I mean, this is where I maybe disagree with you. These are the far, far left, but Barack Obama is very comfortable with these people. He's not embarrassed by any of this stuff.
But when he campaigned, he sold himself as a moderate. And now it's like he's lifted off that mask, and there he is.
So the bottom line is, until the next election, we're stuck with extremists in the White House.
Yeah, you fire one of these people, they'll put another one in.
And that's why we can never again...
You don't think if the American people, if one by one people are aware of who they are and their background and their books and their statements, that the American people wouldn't say, he's he's got to go, he's got to go.
Oh,
and
you
decide.
better believe
Well, that happened with Van Jones, and it will start to. Dawn Johnson, who we didn't really talk much about, she never even got confirmed
Kevin Jennings.
because of the
Czar
revelation.
issue.
Right.
Yeah, unaccountable,
when,
unelected, unconfirmed.
Right.
No vetting process.
When I was reading this, I was remembering when Bill Clinton won the White House, he said, I'm going to have a cabinet that looks like America. God forbid that America looks like this.
But you got a cabinet that looks like what?
Yeah, well,
but there is
radicals.
Yes, exactly.
Like Reverend Wright and Bill Ayers.
Yeah, but don't say there's
Not the terrorist,
John
Bill Ayers, the
Holdren
radical.
and Carol Browner.
There is a vetting process, though, and it's the guy in the Oval Office.
That's a great point.
the vetting process.
Well, I think he knew. They had to know about these guys.
He got who he
They know,
wanted.
and they promote it.
Guys, thank you.